Welcome everyone to Rise Up Together tonight. I'm your host, Rachel Freet. We've got a great show lined up for you. Our theme today is Bear Burdens, and our Bible focus comes from the 2nd chapter of the Gospel of Mark. As Christians, we are called to look out for our neighbor and to help others in need. We hear the example of 4 friends who bring their paralytic friend to see Jesus because they knew Jesus could heal him, and that's what friends do, take care of others. Participants at the last 4 ELCA youth gatherings have had the opportunity to take part in Tinkletown, an obstacle course filled with the everyday challenges that may confront wheelchair users in an inaccessible world. Tinkletown will again be present in Proclaim Community, but as a part of a larger experience to move participants from awareness to advocacy. Just as Detroit, the Motor City, became the center of a revolution that opened up new ways of moving around our world, we hope Disability will start a new revolution in moving and welcoming persons who are definitely abled. In Proclaim Community on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, gathering participants will be able to encounter a variety of impairments through games and activities. Learn what really makes an impairment a disability in our society, and explore ways to make the world more accessible and inviting for all people. Come play, learn, and be more challenged to make a more welcoming and barrier-free world, regardless of ability. We talked with Chris Stash, co-team leader for Proclaim Community. We sat with Rosella White, who talked about her role as ELCA Program Director for Young Adult Ministry and what it means to be a speaker at the gathering. Rachel Kurtz talked with us about her role as a featured musician at the gathering. So don't go away, we'll be right back with more Rise Up Together tonight.
Pastor Obvious here, reminding you that while you're at the youth gathering, you should drink lots of water. This is water. This is not water. Water, not water. What? Drink lots of water.
Thanks, Pastor Obvious.
Thanks, Pastor Obvious. Proclaim Community invites participants to join God's kingdom community that has come near by participating in God's work, building bridges, bearing burdens, breaking chains, and bringing hope. This work calls us to listen, be vulnerable, and depend on each other. The Detroit Copo Center serves as host to our Holy Playground. Earlier today, I was in Proclaim Community, and here are some of the things people are experiencing.
Welcome. We're excited to bring you to Abilla City. This is the place where we hope to teach people about living with a disability and what it means to actually be much more than that, and how we learn to treat people beyond the limitations that they might have. Tinkletown an interesting idea, or an interesting obstacle course and challenge, is just how simple the idea seems of going to the bathroom. And for most people, it just is an everyday, well, we do it every day. It's so common that we don't even think about it. Maybe if you're in school, you need a hall pass, but that's the extent of what it takes. And here in the obstacle course, there's a ramp that's too steep. There's rocks that have to be gone, sand, carpet, just something that's so simple and all over the place can really pose a challenge for a wheelchair user. And then making it into a door and into a bathroom that's not accessible and trying to transfer without handrails, and then the toilet paper is too far away. You know, many of us don't think about all of these challenges.
There's a bathroom not far from here that I just attempted to get into, and it would be good, but they were holding the door open with a large wastebasket. And so I fought the door to try to get into it. And the sinks were too high, and the stall was even, I could get into it, but that was ridiculous. So there's still realities, there's still barriers. So to just make people more aware that there are still challenges out there that need to be worked on. Even since ADA 25 years ago, there's still more work to be done.
Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter, Nicole Lyons, interviewed Chris Stash, co-leader for Proclaim Community. She tells us some of the behind-the-scenes preparation and how people take the experience home with them.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with Chris Stash, Director of Proclaim Community Day. So not many people at the gathering get a chance to get to know the people who work behind the scenes. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do outside the gathering?
I am from Dubuque, Iowa, where I serve on the faculty of Wartburg Theological Seminary.
So how do you bring your outside experiences at Wartburg Theological Seminary into your experiences here at the gathering?
Well, I think primarily, or at least one of the reasons I was asked to do this role, is to focus on interactive learning. How do we think about learning differently and in multiple forms? And so as an educator, that clearly is one of my driving objectives. I also get to do a lot of different kinds of things at Wartburg, and it's a space that allows me to be creative. And so I think that's a good match for me at the gathering as well.
All right, and so Proclaim Community Day is when they get to go to the Interactive Center. What sort of things will there be at the Interactive Center?
What won't there be at the interactive learning? We have the traditionals. We have the bumper boats and the ropes course and the sports fields. But we also have wonderful ways of exploring what it means to proclaim community through hands-on creative expressions, through a pub. We have a Root Beer and Reformation pub where you can come and stump the theologian, ask your toughest questions and engage in conversation about those kinds of questions about God that we always wrestle with. We have a refugee camp set up, and come and find out what does it mean to be a refugee. And so there's so many different ways. I think one of the best things about interactive learning is it's not just about a team of people who produces these things, but we work with partners, organizations that have a relationship with the ELCA, and they come and create these really incredible learning experiences, and that's very exciting as well.
All right, so how big is the Proclaim community area? I've heard it's pretty big.
Well, this year it's 11 football fields.
That's big.
Yeah, some would say that's big.
It's a lot of football.
Yep.
So that space allows you to do what specifically?
Anything we want. I mean, we have 2 full towers set up, and we're running 2 zip lines along one end of it. We have basketball courts and soccer fields and kickball diamonds all set up inside this space. The center of our space, we have a huge cross, because this is really about a journey to the cross. And underneath this cross, we have a baptismal font where people can come and remember their baptismal promises and be blessed and remember that Jesus is the center of everything. And so the whole area is designed around this cross.
Right. What does the youth gathering mean to you personally?
Oh my goodness, I have such a passion and a love for the youth gathering. My first youth gathering was when I was in high school, back in a decade that I won't mention at this moment.
That's fine.
And I got to go back as a youth director, and I've gotten to go back as leadership teams. And I just know the impact it's had on me and the different kind of impact it's had on me for each role. And I can't say enough about the experience to come and experience church beyond the walls of the building in my community. That's something I get really excited about, and I want others to experience that as well.
Back to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Nicole. Here are some highlights from the week so far.
I didn't really know what to expect. It was just cool to hear how people my age see the world.
The future is now.
We can come and we can look at each other and we all have something in common where we can talk about and then relate in a way.
We'll have more Rise Up Together tonight after this.
What up, everybody? My name is Dave Scher, also known as Agape. Woo woo.
Hi, I'm Rachel Kurtz.
And we are together with our friend Joe Davis on a tour called the Rise Up Together Tour of 2015. Hey.
What's up?
And we are going to come to your town, hopefully. We're coming to 23 cities around the country, and we're going to bring, hopefully raise money and awareness for water issues, the Walk for Water for ELCA. If you go to the website, support.elca.org/go/Team Agape.
Or all that / Team Rachel.
So as I mentioned, Team Agape.
Team Rachel is
Team
probably where you
Agape.
want to go to.
Anyway, we're going to try to raise, each of us are going to try to raise $50,000.
It's going to be so much fun. And we'll have all the information on both our websites, of course, hiphopoutreach.com, rachelkurtz.com. But we'll also have them on Facebook and Instagram and all those things. So you'll be able to keep up with us.
I agape you. Love Rachel Kurtz. Love your haters. On Fleek Lutheran.
Lutheran's on fleek. I'm just saying.
Peace.
Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter, Nicole Lyons, interviewed Rosella White, ELCA Program Director for Young Adult Ministry, and one of Saturday night's gathering speakers.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with Rosella White, ELCA Director of Young Adult Ministry. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. So what exactly do you do for the ELCA?
What do I do for the ELCA?
Yes.
Well, I work within the ecology of the ELCA, so churches, congregations, or synods, and churchwide to look at ministry with folks between the ages of 18 and 30. And I'm basically doing that through networking, through program development, through support of people who work with young adults, particularly around 4 areas, around faith formation, identity, vocation, and leadership development.
What is your vision for the young adult leadership of the church?
That people first and foremost know that they are loved and that they are enough and worthy. And secondly, that people's faith comes alive.
So what programs are already in place for the young adults of the church?
So we have campus ministries, and we have a director for campus ministries. We have outdoor ministries where our young adults, more than 3,000, are serving. We have our chaplains and our military chaplains and our federal chaplains, so both in the military and the Justice Department, that work with young adults, and so there are programs there. And then there's some other programs that I'm really excited about. One is called Life in Service. So we have developed a network of all of the ELCA's service year organizations. So we have 5. We have Young Adults in Global Mission, we have Urban Servant Corps, Border Servant Corps, All Ear, and we have Lutheran Volunteer Corps. And then we also have what we call the Young Adult Cohort, which is a partnership between ELCA Young Adults, World Hunger, Young Adults in Global Mission alumni, and ELCA Justice for Women.
What does the gathering mean to you personally?
The gathering is a space where we can see, literally see the movement of the Spirit. I don't know that people see or sense that in their individual or congregational experiences, but by sheer numbers, we are able to see how God's Spirit is moving and the ways that God's Spirit is speaking. It also represents transformation. It represents an opportunity to engage in a place or space that's different from where you come from.
Okay, and it's also my understanding that you are one of the speakers at the mass gathering.
Yes,
at Ford
I'm
Field.
speaking this year.
Okay, and what do you hope the youth come away from your talk with?
I'm speaking on Saturday night, and on that night the theme is breaking the chains, and I'm focusing on breaking the chains of stigma, particularly around mental illness. So I'm someone that lives with depression and anxiety, and will be sharing my story publicly for the first time in that way. I've been writing about it for a few years. And one of the things that I know is that mental illness, things that deal with self-harm, things that deal with just feeling unworthy and not enough, run rampant among young people. And one of the things that I hope to do is to bring a name and a face to that struggle and to help people see that there are ways to make it, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're despairing. And to also show the connection, the positive connection between faith and healing and restoration. And not that that means that everything is okay, because it's not, but that there is a new way of being, that you see yourself as part of a community, and that you understand that God is always with you, who's promised to never leave and forsake you, and that God has created so many things that aid in people's care. So whether it be medication or therapy, whatever, that there are ways for you to be supported that you have to have no shame about, because God wants what's best for you.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Rosella.
you, Nicole. Thank you very much.
Back to you, Rachel.
MILE, Multicultural Youth Leadership Event, is a pre-event to the ELCA Youth Gathering and was held on the campus of Wayne State University in Detroit from Sunday, July 12th through Wednesday, July 15th. MILE is an event focused on empowering young people of color and those whose primary language is not English, and their adult leaders to claim their story as part of God's story, to claim their identity as transformational leaders, not only to the church but in the world. The theme for the event was Love Does, based on the 12th chapter of Mark, which reminds us to love God and to love our neighbor. Throughout the event, participants were reminded what love can do: celebrate, bind, call, rise. Love does all these things. Together we are called to love one another, to celebrate our diversity, and to be reminded of our oneness in Christ. During the event, participants experienced an inclusive community that helped build understanding and appreciation for various cultures and traditions that make up the church. Participants also explored the intersection of faith and daily life. Then, they were challenged to take what they had learned in the world to share with others. Concerts, worship services, a talent show, interaction with new friends were all part of this experience. Most importantly, participants were continually reminded love does. DALE, Definitely Abled Youth Leadership Event, is another pre-event to the ELCA Youth Gathering. DALE is an event focused on blessing and empowering young people who live with a wide range of physical, cognitive, and emotional disabilities, so that they might grow as faithful, wise, and courageous witnesses. Participants also got the opportunity to explore the city of Detroit, getting them ready for the gathering. The theme for this event was Crossing Together, where the participants experienced how we work together to proclaim the gospel. Through worship services, talent shows, service projects, and engaging speakers, DALE participants were empowered to share God's message of love with others. Let's take a look at some highlights from these events. We will have more Rise Up Together tonight after this.
Tanner!
Tasha, Betsy,
Matt,
Elizabeth, and we are the morning show Rise Up Detroit. Woo! This is Matt and I. We are the co-hosts of the show.
That's me.
And this is our wonderful band. We are actually all from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is
represent 717.
yeah. So make sure you come see our show. When is it, Matt?
8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings, right here outside the Grand Ballrooms.
Yeah. So definitely come check us out. We have one small problem though. Our band doesn't have a name just yet. So if you would be willing to help us out, we would love to get some help on a band name. You can just tweet your ideas to us at #GatheringShow, #RiseUpDetroit, and we'd love to take your suggestions to name our band. That would be super helpful. Fun fact about our band, they are incredible at coming up with songs on the spot. It's something we're going to do on our show as well. So, what do you think, guys? A little song about Rise Up Detroit?
See us then from 8 to 10. We're gonna do a show. You're gonna love it so much. Come see us then from 8 to 10. We're gonna do a show. It's gonna rock your face off. Yeah!
Thanks, Rise Up Detroit. Our Rise Up Together Tonight reporter, Nicole Lyons, interviewed Rachel Kurtz, featured musician at the gathering.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm here with Rachel Kurtz, a featured musician for the ELCA Youth Gathering. Welcome to Detroit, first of all. What's it like to be a featured musician?
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like astounding. You get to see all your best friends. You get to see everybody that you've met ever on the road, and they're all in one spot. And it just feels really humbling and awesome.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a mom. I live in Minneapolis. I've got 3 kids. I travel around the country and tell stories and sing songs.
So you just came out with a new album.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that album?
I'm so excited. So it's a couple of the songs I've written for this gathering in particular, and then a whole new liturgy I wrote for churches to be able to sing. And it's a bluesy kind of gospel liturgy that is really fun. So I really wrote it as like sort of a liturgy to sing at the top of your lungs. And I also think, because it's called a celebration of Holy Communion, that sometimes during communion we're really somber and sober about it. But I think sometimes we have to actually just party about the fact that Jesus died for us and lives so that we can like be in relationship with God.
Do you ever ask your kids for help in writing songs, or do they get to help with that process at all?
It's really fun when I'm writing a song and they've heard it a million times and they start singing it along. That's my favorite. My daughter Lucy sings everything that she's amazing. And she actually performed with me for the first time ever just recently when I was down in Nebraska. And so it's been amazing to see how God, the creator of the universe, somehow has decided to give me a gift of music and then give me such an incredible venue to use it in. So it's just such a humbling experience to be here. It's so awesome. And I love telling young people, like, you just never know when you dedicate your life to God and say, I'll do what you want me to do, what path God will take you on and where you'll end up. Like, I never dreamed in a million years that I would do this for my life. It's
So
awesome.
So awesome. So what advice do you have to the young people out in the gathering, around the United States even? What advice do you have to them as they go through life?
Well, for sure, for weeks like this, be aware of the people you interact with. One thing that's been awesome, I know, especially last time in New Orleans, but a reputation that the Lutherans get wherever they go is that they're kind, they have good manners, that they're not impatient, that they tip well. Like, it's really just sort of recognizing who's around you and have conversations with people. Relationships are where the experience is. It's talking to your bus driver, it's talking to someone on the street that you've met, it's talking to someone at your work site. That, like, the relationship is really where the beauty of finding out what a city is like and who's here.
Last question.
Yeah.
What animal would you be and why?
I've been thinking about this because I heard other interviews. I'm going to say I probably would be either a gorilla or a bear because they're family oriented and they're with their people, but there is also times for them, like a bear goes and hibernates with just their crew. So I just think that being in any kind of community animal is the way I'd be because I like to cuddle and that's what I would be.
All right. And where are you performing and when?
All over the place. If you go to Rachel L. Kurtz on Instagram or just go to Rachel Kurtz on Facebook, like my personal Facebook page, I'll have everything announced. I'm going to be at a bunch of different stages, but I definitely will be at morning worship. They're calling it the Sanctuary Room, but it's actually Hall E1. Agape and I will be there every morning. So Wednesday morning at 11, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 and 9. And come early to anyone that wants to come because because it's a smaller room and it's going to pack out, I think, every single time. And that's going to be really, really fun. And then I'll be in the Ford Field on Friday. I'll be in the satellite stage on Saturday, and then again on Sunday. So I'll be everywhere.
All right.
Come find me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. You can check out Rachel throughout the week. We'll be right back.
That's it for tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our show. Tune in tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. for more interviews, highlights, and to learn about Proclaim Justice. For everyone at Rise Up Together tonight, I'm Rachel Freet. Thanks for watching.